Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners meeting, March 8th, 2023 for 9 a.m. I call this meeting to order. If you will, please silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices that you have. If you will, please stand for the invocation and the pledge. The invocation given by Carter Barrow, pastor from Manchester First Baptist Church.
Father, I just come to you today and I thank you for all the people in this room that want to see Meriwether County become the best place possible. For us, as you continue to give us the opportunity to not only affect the lives of the people that are living here now, but to affect the lives of the people around the world, building an impact center that you want us to be. Father, I ask you to give them the wisdom, the strength, and the knowledge to do things that you want them to do, so that our people are taken care of just the way you love them. Lord, I thank you for their willingness to serve in these positions, whether they find it important or not. I hope they find importance in you, Lord. They find their identity in who you are, what it is that you've done for them. Father, I just want to finish by closing out and saying thank you for your son as we have this Easter season, Lord, the sacrifice he was willing to make because he wanted to bear for you and I to have a relationship together. So I come to you this morning and pray and know that you hear my prayer, Lord. I want to thank you for the Holy Spirit and God each and every person on the spring faith and decision that you wanted to make. It's your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. If you need to leave, you can. It's up to you, but thank you for coming. Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be added or changed? All right. Hearing none, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Next item, presentations. We have no need. Next item, finance report. Mr. Bill.
Mr. Chair, before we have it, back down to the court, we have a word with this. We went on the EMS account. We did get a check from our EMS billing company. Excuse me. We did get a check from our EMS billing company for $115,000 this morning, which is about 30-40 grand more than what it's been the last couple of 3 months. I think Chief Stevens lit a fire under the EMS billing company and they've tightened up just a little bit. So that's good to see. That'll get us back on track for where we need to be there. And that's about all I have, unless you have any questions.
Any commissioners have any questions? Hearing none, we move to the next item, citizen comment. I believe we have one citizen, Ms. Susan. You'll come forward. I'm not going to read all this because you've spoken before so much that you know the rules.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. Next time I'll do it right. I'm here about Flat Shoals Road. I know you guys are sick of hearing about Flat Shoals Road, but Flat Shoals Road is, I feel like I'm in Atlanta when I'm on Flat Shoals Road some days. The truck traffic on Flat Shoals is ridiculous. I think the county, the sheriff's office has been out there trying to stop trucks. Those container drivers are the worst. That road is rated 5 tons. We've got tractor trailers going up and down that road. There was a gasoline tanker came down that road. God forbid anything happen. A cow, a dog, they die. It's going to be tragic. Now, I realize there's so much we can do. So I'm thinking, how do we get them off our roads? Now, we got to work with Pike County because that bridge, you know, it's access to 2 counties. Pike did a pretty good job on their end. They've got, but the signs aren't very big and it says don't come down this road, but they still make that turn. On our end, it says no through trucks, 5-ton weight limit. That's the difference between ours and their sign. Ours actually has a weight limit on it. But apparently, I don't know if those guys are just, I don't know, watching TV or something when they make that turn, but they're not, they're crossing Flat Shoals Bridge. My concern is, I know Flat Shoals Bridge is not a 5-ton weight limit bridge. We all know that. But how many 80,000-pound loads can go across that bridge before there ain't no bridge? That's a consideration too. So clearly we can't get through these guys with signs or with deputies or with commercial police officers that do the trucks. How about we change our signage? we gotta kind of trick them. I'm all for let's trick them. That we have some, the different, at the Pike end, there's a sign on both sides of the road. So when they make that turn, it's right there in their face. Clearly, it doesn't have any bearing on whether or not they finish the turn. But on our end, we got this one sign, good size sign. No reason why they can't see that sign. All right, well, we do 2 signs. We do them bigger. We put on there, you're gonna get a big fat fine if you turn down this road. I don't know what we gotta do to stop those trucks, but those trucks, if they're tearing up Flat Shoals Road. The county can do just so much to keep the potholes filled. Now, there's a big one out front of the ranch. I don't blame the county for not getting that hole filled or all of the holes filled. I blame the trucks. That's our problem. So if we can stop the trucks and the county can fix the road, we're done. Susan stays engaged. She doesn't come up here and griping about Flat Shoals Road. So that's the only thing I could come up with is maybe we change the signs. We say that there's a fine attached to it. We contact Pike County, put on there that there's a fine attached to you being on this road. Their road is new. It won't be long. On the Pike side, it's all brand new blacktop. I followed a truck 70 miles an hour. Okay, I was going 72 because I was trying to keep up with him, but he was going 70 miles an hour on Flat Shoals Road. On the Pike side, not on ours. But God forbid they cross over. Now we've got a problem. If they're 70 on ours, we're done. So,
Hear you.
okay. Now do something.
I'll call you later.
Yes, they don't like words.
You call me then. All right, next item are the minutes from the February 28, 2023, 6 p.m. meeting. You all should have had a chance to be able to read. If so, are there any need for changes or corrections? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept? Have a motion, do I have a second? Second. Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. No need for public hearing, no appointments. Next item is unfinished business. Finalization of the 2023 LMIG projects. Mr. Beal?
Good morning.
I guess I'll just read the list of the roads that we have on the list and go from there. All right, so we have a section on Luthersville Road. We have a second section on Luthersville Road, which is an additional funding we got from the Georgia DOT for $525,000. Then we have a third section of Luthersville Road, which is part of District 1 and District 3. Which is the same as the first part. Then we have some safety overlays on Forest Road. There's 5 sections there that we're going to do some safety overlays with really bad conditions. The next will be Dean Road, which is in District 2, Stovall Road, District 5. Then we have Newton Street, Short Street, and Long Street. And that completes the list, and the approximate estimated cost will be $2,120,797. But that hasn't gone out to bid yet. That's just an estimate.
So the road that I stated to put on here last meeting's not on here?
Newton Street, short and long. That's I really hadn't had time to, I was out there yesterday.
Okay, this one's not updated.
No, this is
Right,
not.
I had to update it because I went out yesterday, made measurements on several different streets that were in mention just to be able to get this prices up.
Okay.
So I was kind of under the gun to get finished. And I'll give Beverly this new list.
So we don't really need to do anything on this, right? Today?
I thought we had to vote on it.
This will be the list that goes out to bid, and Alice and I are now currently working on the bid package.
Right, but the only change is Newton added to it.
Short.
Newton,
No, it's okay. We can vote on it. I just didn't want it. It was all.
yes, what we added was Newton Street, Short Street, and Long Road. which are all together. It's a residential like subdivision. They're off of Cleveland Highway.
And what was the new total?
2,120,797 estimated.
Any commissioners have any questions?
What's the timeline for the bids and when this all gets going?
We'll probably finish in the next week or two, then it'll have to go on the Georgia procurement site. With the DOT site, and it'll probably, depending on what date we put for the return of the bids, probably by the end of the month, 1st of April. Then we'll be able to open bids and see what contractors have bid and what the prices are.
Just to help educate me on this, with this many roads and areas, would it be just one contractor that would win the bid and have to wait for him to get, or would it be multiple bids to where we can get a lot of this done at one time and not?
Typically, when it goes out, then the contractors will submit bid packages back to us. Sometimes you'll have 3 or 4, sometimes you'll only have 1. Just depends on how busy they are.
And it'll all come before us so we can look at it. Any other commissions?
Yeah, I got a question, like, Dean Road, or say Stovall Road,
Yes, sir.
0.94 miles,
Yes, sir.
price is 117,000. Then you got Luthersville Road, 1.25 miles, it's 682,000.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, what's the difference? I know you got more work involved on Luthersville Road, but
We're doing full depth reclamation, on
so you're
Luthersville.
grinding it all up.
Like on Stovall Road, what I've done is gone out and marked the base failure areas, measured that and determined how much needs to be patched. From there, once that patching is done, then you do the overlay. On Luthersville Road, those projects are widening that road 1 foot. So we're going from basically a 19 and 20-foot road to 21 foot. We're doing 8 inches full depth reclamation, which is a soil cement mixture. Then we're putting down 2.5 inches of binder and 1.5 inches of topping, and then they build the shoulders and striping. So there's a lot more work involved.
That base on Luthersville is gone.
Yeah.
So they got to redo that entire base under.
So the biggest difference is going to be the full depth. Full depth.
Bid them out and pay this kind of price on, do we have any kind of warranty or?
They usually put a 1-year warranty on them. Like Stovall has very little patching involved. I have the cost figures in the office, but it's probably only $15,000 worth of patching. And then the resurfacing.
And this is just our estimate right now.
Yeah.
They may come in under, they come in over.
It was based on the 2022 bids that we got last year.
You want to go ahead and jump on Forest Road, the difference in Forest and Luthersville? What we're trying to do is put the safety overlay on
Yeah.
Forest to buy some time. But Forest is as long as Luthersville. And what the cost involved there is going to be full depth reclamation as in Luthersville. And
At some point to fix Forest Road, you'll have to do full depth reclamation. And it's estimated over $3 million project. Just for Forest Road, if you did the entire section from, was it Gerald Road? No, Alley Road, north. Up
to the city limits of Lone Oak.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we've got similar situations with other roads in the county that you're trying to buy time to get them where you could do what's needed fully. But
Forest is just, those sections are just very dangerous sections, and those are sort of a safety overlay till maybe we can finish Luthersville or some other projects and then come back to Forest Road.
And we're just putting expensive Band-Aids on Forest Road. All right.
Been doing that on a lot of roads.
Have to until we can come up with the money. Any other commissioners? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the proposal?
so moved.
Have a motion,
Second.
motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you all. Next item, ceiling and caulking of courthouse clock bell tower. Ms. Bill?
Yes, I've contacted Jay Johnson with Principal Construction. In the initial stages of this project, he bid this out to two professional waterproofing companies. And he is trying to get that information in my hands. I don't have it just yet, so. And I talked with him last Thursday and yesterday, so he's trying to get that. And that, he did that in the initial stages of this, and then we went into another phase where we did the roof leaders, lined the pipes. And then this was going into the next phase of that project, but.
Refresh my memory on this. I apologize now, but it might be worthwhile to refresh all our memories now. When we had this severe problem with the water leakage at the courthouse last year, and we did put it out for bid, the bids came in and they were all over the chart. One was like over $1 million and the other one was less than 500,000, if I'm not mistaken. And then it was brought to our attention, you got 3 types of roofs to deal with. So then we had to zero in, well, how do we address the leakage from the roof or whatever? And you may want to jump in at this point because my memory may not be as well as yours, but
That's
I
right.
know that what the first phase was addressing the actual gutters that were filled up or closed off or whatever.
Right, they had a company called Ephesus, and they were looking at the entire replacement of the roof and what all was most necessary at the time. And then as we got into looking at the roof drains, they had been sealed off for years and years, so they were not active. They sealed them, so well, they were beginning to leak around the caulking, because caulking is usually about maybe a 10-year life, some of that stuff. But so those started leaking again, and we found out that the pipes had holes in them. Don't know if it was from the fire or what it was from, but so as the water was bypassing all the sealant and running down the pipe, it was running into the courthouse and stuff. So that became the first priority in that project.
Just stop.
Was to stop that. And what they came up with was a specialized pipe lining. So we went in there, opened up all the drains, went down to where they daylighted it down below the courthouse ground level, lined those pipes, and we got the leak stopped. They found about 2 foot of brick and scaffolding material down in one of the drains that ran to the sheriff's bathroom. I guess during construction, people just started throwing pipes and bricks down into that drain. So anyway, they got that cleared and got all that repaired. So we went a couple of months, probably 3 months. We didn't have any leaks in the courthouse. We had a storm and heavy blowing rain, and it started leaking back in the bell tower. And the bell tower is with the copper flashing and things like that. So it started running in there and hit the atrium, which I think has been leaking for a while. And then that would drip into the courtroom. So that was the next phase that this proposal was looking at, trying to repair that, the clock tower and the dome, so that it didn't leak into that atrium. And that would be done by a professional waterproofing roofing professional. And that's kind of where we are at this point. And they kind of feel like if we could do that, get that sealed, we're probably at the end of this project.
How much was the first one?
Sir,
You remember how much the?
169,000.
What kind of guarantee is on this or warranty on their work? Any?
It was 169,938.
So for 210,000, are they warranting their work?
Let's see. I'd have to check, I'm sure. The duration was 60 days. Let's go. I can get that for you. He didn't identify that. And then when he gets me the information where he bid it out to the 2 waterproofing companies, I can bring that back as well.
And then the phase 3 is going to be to address internal, like the ceiling tiles and things where we've got to go back in and do.
That's not part of the
Cosmetic,
200,000.
So that'd
Because
be
of the
phase
lead-based
3.
paint, that's why it's really expensive. On the
Right.
exterior part, but yes, the interior would be the next phase.
So,
Are we already working on quotes for the interior?
We've contacted the insurance company, and they've got the adjuster's been out and taken pictures, and they had an estimate I'm not sure where that stands, Ms. Beverly, but at one time, they were approving $10,000 for interior repair, but we haven't moved forward with that because it's still leaking.
I was just curious, at some point, I think we're going to approve someone to repair the clock tower. I mean, after we toured buildings, it's embarrassing and disgraceful how the condition of some of these buildings. So if we could get quotes going on the interior simultaneously to this work being done, as soon as it's done, we can trigger the next phase. We've got to do something and just start doing it faster, quicker, if it's possible.
I agree. So you want to get us a warranty part on this?
I will.
See what they would cover? Because so far that's gonna be about $380,000 that we're spending on just leak with no guarantee. So the first part was done and then it's still leaking. So now we've got to fix this part of leaking.
Yeah, so we've done that first section and that stopped, but everything in the bell tower is not.
So Beverly, is none of this covered under insurance for the bell tower?
No,
Well, they're still arguing back.
Well, if they're gonna cover the interior due to the leak of this.
they're still
It-
back and forth on that as well.
I'll reach back out to them today. Juster and ACCG is the two that's going back and forth. I did receive one response that we did have a ongoing leak situations. That was a maintenance issue. They did not cover that. But there is a portion that they will cover.
All right, so.
Gotta figure out how much it's gonna be.
So before we make a final decision on 210,000, we need to know what the insurance, if any, they will cover, and then that may bring this down a good bit. So
No, the coverage
Well,
that the
the-
insurance company will do is for the interior. It has nothing to.
Yeah,
do
the
with
210 is just
except for
No.
the exterior. that's what I
extremely
questioned.
exterior.
Had nothing to do with that. Okay.
No, it's all the 210 is all exterior.
Okay. So if you'll find out from me the warranty or what they're gonna guarantee on this, that'll
Sure
help
will.
me.
I'll get him to put something in writing.
But in the meantime, we need to go ahead and move forward with approving it, don't we? Because the work needs to be done,
But we don't know what they'll
Well,
guarantee.
how long's it been leaking?
at least a year. We-
What's another week or two gonna be?
I
think
I
we
want to
need-
know what it is because if there's no warranty
Wait.
on this, we may need to look at other, it does need to be fixed.
Well,
But,
I'm sure there'll be a warranty. I'll just get that for you.
so any other commissioners? Hearing none, do I have a motion to table this until our next meeting, or if we get this back, we can do a special call if needed to go ahead and move forward? All right, have a motion to table.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item, new business. Item number one, intergovernmental agreement regarding the conducting of the 2023 municipal general election for the city of Greenville. Ms. Patty?
So it's a municipal election year, and a lot of municipalities will be contacting us about conducting their elections. And so we have to do an intergovernmental agreement, and that has to come through you. I have drafted an intergovernmental agreement for the city of Greenville. They're different. They're the only ones that we've ever conducted qualifying for, except we did in an emergency situation for Warm Springs before. But Greenville's a little different. This is for them. They are the ones that have contacted me. Nathan has reviewed this, just so you know that. It's the same contract that we had in 2021. Any questions?
Any commissioners have any questions? Do I need to read the agreement? No? Okay, good. Oh, it's 3 pages. No thanks. All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to move forward?
So move.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Patty. All right, next item under new business, set public hearing for case number 2023-001. Fortified Telecom Services request to rezone 4.73 acres from LDR to LDR special use for the use of a cell tower. The parcel is known as tax map 164-003. How many do we have on the 28 so far?
Chairman and board, we have 3 set up, which are those 3 road closures for public hearing on the 28th. This will add the additional 4 items under new business to that public hearing, unless we want to do a special called meeting to break those up.
Let me look. Do we expect any to be controversial?
There is word on the street that yes, there may be some controversy, but
Listen, they take a long time.
What are our options on a special call meeting prior to do, to
the
address
only,
them?
the only thing that I'm aware of that we have to do is we have to legally advertise for at least 15 days
That's only for the zone.
for the zoning, for these, correct?
Not for, well, I don't know about alcohol, I'd have to look at the. I'd have to look, I mean, someone like that knows in here, but I'm, yeah. If just a special call meeting is just 24 hour notice, but if you're gonna have a
Right.
public hearing for a zoning matter. You gotta advertise and you gotta have that public hearing no less than 15, no more than 45 days. So, yes, it depends on what you want on the public, on the meeting, what you're gonna have on the special call meeting, depends on how much notice.
Well, here's the thing. This is my thinking and everybody else can have theirs too, but I say let's move forward with whatever we have to on these. And I know we're in the middle of this. We have to vote on it because I've already read it, but I'm okay with staying here till midnight if we have to, but I don't think that we will. Instead of having double the meetings because the citizens have already requested these and we have an obligation to the citizens to meet these. So on number 2.
You can also set a maximum time for the public. hearing.
Right, we can. So on item number 2, do I have a motion to set a public hearing for the 28th of this month at 6 p.m.? Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 3, set public hearing for case 2023-002 Brandon Estep. Request to rezone 2 acres from LDR to NHC for the use of home-based tree service business. The parcel is known as tax map 118013. Do I have a motion to set a public hearing for March 28th at 6 p.m.?
Make a motion.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries.
Excuse me, did you know?
We do.
I can-
Item number 4,
Yeah, but
set public hearing for case number 2023-003. Charles Hudson requests a sale of wine and beer. Parcel is 1.97 acres and known as tax map 133033801. Do I have a motion to set a public hearing for this case on March 28th at 6 p.m.? Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 5, set public hearing for case number 2023-004 Sandra and Jamie Tigner. Request to rezone 2.0 acres from RD to RD special use for the use of family cemetery. Parcel is known as tax map 03503300004. Do I have a motion to set a public hearing for March 28th at 6 p.m. meeting?
Motion.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Next item, report from the county administrator.
Thank you, sir. Wanted to let you all know that I worked with the fire chief yesterday. We've been working on applying for congressionally directed spending through Senator Ossoff's office. So we have applied for some extra money regarding apparatus. So hopefully we'll hear from that. No guarantees on it, but we've put everything into that. I'll also be setting up a meeting with Manchester in regards to recreation and animal control, just kind of to make sure we're all on the same page as far as the county and city goes, matching up with SDS, et cetera. We're working on with the designer or the engineer firm for the final design on Greenville Park. We finally received the quote for the equipment that was lost from the tower on Forest Road from the tornado. We have submitted that to the insurance company. We can file any differences with FEMA, so we're waiting to hear back on that. And we received a GMA EMPG grant in the amount of $8,347. That will be decreased 20% next year due to GMA's funding. And that's all I have.
Any commissioners have any questions for the administrator? All right, hearing none. Next item is a report from county commissioners. Commissioner Collins.
Oh, I just want to say thanks to all the employees and the staff for doing such a great job. And then I'm still getting a few calls on the roads and maybe when it dries up a little bit, we can get started on fixing all these dirt roads.
All right. Commissioner Plant.
Okay, a couple of announcements out. the St. Mary's College, students will be here next week. They're starting to work on the, Habitat for Humanity's house in Manchester. And I understand this year they're a little bit behind on the, where the construction of the house, but they will be working, and, just welcome them when you get this opportunity to see them. We appreciate their work. And then American Legion Post 186 as a raffle for, AR-15 gun that's going to be held, the $10 per raffle ticket. And you can see any member of Post 186, but it'll be awarded during the Cotton Fair. Correct, Larry? Okay, all right. And as far as I know, that's basically it for me. I know there's a couple of big things going on in Woodbury this weekend, and the Republican Party will be meeting Saturday morning. That'll be their large meeting for the county. And then there's also a spring fling taking place in the city of Woodbury, which looks like it's going to be a big event. So anyway, lots going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner King.
Pretty much like last month, I get a lot of calls saying that they thanking us for getting things taken care of. I'm getting emails and voicemails thanking me for getting things done, but really I want to pass that on because it's the staff and the road department that's getting out there and getting this work accomplished. And so I thank them. I'm passing things from the citizens on down to them. They deserve all the credit for finally getting out here and trying to get things taken care of. And that's about all I got this month.
All right. Commissioner Worsley.
Don't have anything special, just thanks to everyone that keep doing the job we're doing.
I'll piggyback on that. I don't have anything special either. So next we have report from county attorney.
I don't entertain the report other than taking an update on the litigation matter.
Right. And I think we do have executive session need for litigation and real estate
And personnel.
and personnel. Okay. Our future meetings are March 28, 2023 at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of litigation, personnel, and real estate? Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. We are in executive session at 9:32. All right. Do I have a motion to go back into regular session?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? We are back in regular session at 10:55. All right, couple of things we need to bring out from executive session. I need a motion for merit increases to employees at Public Works and Fire and EMS within the current budget per department head and county administrator approval.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. We'll also need a motion for all new hires coming into the county to sign a contract for training reimbursement purposes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Also, we need to amend the previous votes in the under new business. We need to reset the public hearings from from March 28th to April what's the date?
I would say April the 5th would probably work the best.
Is that the Wednesday?
Yes.
It's not second Wednesday.
What's the one you're working on right now?
The
Yeah.
12th.
The 12th. April
So
12th.
we want to do it for April 12th.
So let me,
So it'll be a morning meeting.
yeah, because there's no other meeting.
Okay, so we don't want to do a special call. That I was asking. The earliest we can do it is a special call, which will be the 5th.
Let's just do it on our April 12th instead of
Okay.
having another meeting. So under new business on the previous part, under under number 2, set public hearing for case number 2023-001 Fortified Telecom Services. Do I have a motion to move that from the 28th of March to the April 12th meeting?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Under item number 3, new business, set public hearing for case number 2023-002, Brandon Estep, requesting to rezone the 2 acres from LDR to NHC. Do I have a motion to move that public hearing from the 28th of March to April the 12th?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 4, public hearing for case number 2023-003, Charles Hudson to request sale of wine and beer. Do I have a motion to move that public hearing from March 28th to April 12th?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 5, set public hearing for case 2023-004, Sandra and Jamie Tigner to request a rezone 2.0 acres from RD to RD special use. Do I have a motion to move that public hearing from March 28th to April the 12th?
So moved.
Have a
Second.
motion. Do I have a motion and a second? All in favor? Motion carries. Anything else to come before this board? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. We're adjourned.